la la. Songs playlist is back in the building, back in effect. Couple things I need to get off my chest real quick. I've revived the gaming channel. I got a video going up over there today. Shawn Cena, link in the description, pinned comment, go check it out. I'm uploading soon. Second, I want to know your opinion on if I should put this Doomsday record on my wall or if I should wait until I get Vaudeville Villain and put that next to the Roots album. I got more vinyl that are coming from my old place. Landlord has to send them over here. There are a bunch of old stuff that I forgot at that older place, but basically I'm trying to get my essentials on the wall right now. But you don't really give a shit about all that. I'm just asking your opinion on it. You prefer to see Vaudeville Villain next to the Roots or Doomsday, if you can fucking see it at all. Lots of music came out over the last few weeks, and obviously what I'm here to do is talk about it and give my thoughts on it. Hopefully give you guys some information on an artist or a song that you might not know is in existence at the moment, a song that I'm listening to, so let's hop into it. The first one that a lot of you want to hear me talk about is the new 1999 WILDFIRE track from, is it Campfire? I forgot. From Brockhampton. Amid the whole Amir controversy, I was a little bit curious to see how Brockhampton would kind of make their songs or figure out how they would mold themselves. I mean, Amir is an essential character to who Brockhampton has become, but I don't think they couldn't move forward without him. I was just curious to see how they would do so, him no longer being a part of the group. And I was honestly pleasantly surprised by this track. It didn't really disappoint me. I do think that there were very heavy Outkast inspirations, especially when you get to the hook, like Andre 3000 maybe. I don't know exactly if that is intentional or if they're trying to do it and they just happen to be inspired by them. I don't mind the song at all. The hook is fucking beautiful. Whatever instrument that's playing when every member is giving their verse is awesome. I would have actually liked to see Merlin a part of the hook. I think he would have added even more soul and more diversity. His vocal inflections and his reach and his range is just so broad that he would be a standout character for a hook like this and probably make them sound a little bit less Outkast-ish, even though I don't mind it. I actually do like Matt, but I think in this track, and I've heard others that kind of emulate the whole Rich Brian aesthetic of delivering these dark rapped vocals, I like it, but the track is just so bright and happy. His vocals just kind of bring me down a little bit. I do like Joba and Dom's verse. One thing I didn't like again is Bareface. He kind of reminded me of like a, you know, an edgier NSYNC. The way he came in, it felt like a track that was like unintentionally emulating older influence, and I don't mind that because they are a boy band. They are existing as that. It's just something for me that, like, there's so much to enjoy with this track, but also so much for me not to. And the things that I love don't far outweigh the things that I dislike for me to call this like a perfect track. So I just think it's okay. I do like it. I do like, you know, like I said, the hook is probably my favorite part. The flute or whatever instrument is playing while they're rapping is another great addition, but I don't think there are enough elements that are like enjoyable enough for me to call this like a great song or an amazing song. I'd still recommend it if you're a Brockhampton stan, but if you're not, then, you know, just listen to it with open ears. That new Drake album, Scorpion, the more I listen to it, the more it gets on my nerves. I still really do enjoy tracks like Can't Take a Joke and tracks like Elevate. They have a nice inspirational tone from Drake, especially on Elevate. But people are already ruining the song In My Feelings for me. Like, I like it, but people are really overrating this track to me because it's like the only enjoyable part, in my opinion, is the piece where Drake is saying, Kiki, do you love me? Are you riding? That's the whole song, pretty much. Like, that's the most enjoyable part. And it shows up in so few instances of the track itself. I know it's a hook, I know it's a chorus, but I need more of it to enjoy the song all the way through, or else I'm not going to. In My Feelings is a song that, in my opinion, is mediocre, that is made extremely popular by the hook itself. And I know that's how most songs are, but this one I just can't get over because there's so much in it that I don't like, but I love that one part. I love that chorus, that hook. It's great. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go listen to the track In My Feelings featuring or with Drake. I mean, most people know it, but if you don't, there you go. Meek Mill has a new EP out. Again, I forgot the name of it. Legends of the Summer. Meek is fresh out. Hopefully he stays out now. But there are a couple of tracks on this EP that struck me in a very perfect way, like his final track with Miguel, where he talks about everything that he had to endure and everything that he basically feels he's being targeted and how to stay out of the situation, and basically detailing how he feels amidst this whole court situation, having a dirty judge, like a bunch of different things that he feels just is corrupt about the justice system, and just it seems like he's had a revelation. He seems to be speaking from a new perspective on this EP. I do enjoy it. His delivery sounds really hungrier than I've heard him, at least on his past album, Wins and Losses. The first two tracks on this EP are phenomenal. Philadelphia, incredible energy. It's kind of difficult to see where he's going with the track. I love the ending of it, where he just goes into this incredible rap flow, a verse that I rarely hear from, or a style of rapping that I rarely hear from Meek. I would love to see him explore more of that, but he sounded really hungry. His flows and his cadences were different. There were moments in the tracks where he got a little bit darker and expressed his distaste for the justice system, even more so with his hook, "They want to see me in a cage, I want to see me in a wraith." 1 AM is another amazing track. Now, it's nothing special to this. It's really like a twerk or a dance song, but if you pull it up at the function, it's going down to this track. It's a sin to not want to dance to this track. The drops in the beat are perfect. If your shoulder don't move, you're soulless. If your eyes don't blink the right way, you're soulless, okay? If you're not moving a little, if your wrists don't shake a little, you're soulless. Only track I really didn't or could have gone without was the R&B cut with, I believe it's Jeremiah and P&B Rock. Artists that I feel are decent singers and do more for tracks that they're featured on than their own music, but in this, I just feel like it's another strategic kind of thing. Every street rapper or harder rapper has to have a track where he's crooning or singing a little bit. Meek Mill doesn't overstay his welcome in any way, but I just don't really think it's necessary. Everything I'm hearing so far, and then these cuts like this are kind of mediocre. It's kind of one of those tracks like the Nicki Minaj, Chris Brown, and all those other features on that one song, and it just seemed kind of standard, like a blueprint that they're following. I do like it, but it's just not really my speed right now. For the delivery of this EP, I don't really think that track matches it either. Still listening to Freddie Gibbs' self-titled mixtape. Well, not really self-titled, it's just called Freddie, but I really enjoy this mixtape. Freddie Gibbs comes through with a lack of concept, but kind of like a follow-up to his previous record, You Only Live Twice. This is a pretty good follow-up mixtape, in my opinion, to the situation where he was held in a prison in another country. He comes back, and this is kind of like him explaining how he feels now that he's back in this environment, trying to do things right for his daughter. But this track specifically really touched my heartstrings, because I love the track, the Eazy-E, cruising down the street in my 6'4". Again, as I said in that review, I did not expect someone like 03 Greedo to keep so much of the originality or so much of the original of that song in this kind of cut. I did not expect it. When he started, I went crazy. Their delivery is cold and ruthless, but it's also intense, and the bass drops in this song are crazy. Bump this at 100 and your speakers will be knocking. Those who keep asking me about Beast Mode 2, refer to Beast Mode 1, and that's the same fucking album. Nothing's changed, nothing's new. It's Future doing what he normally does in 2018. That's it. Also, the Gorillaz Now Now album. I enjoyed this body of work only because it kept its same vibe, but that's also why I hated it at the same time. It's kind of like one of those albums that you can listen to one track and not realize that you moved on to the second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth track. With the exception of the Snoop Dogg feature, every other track on this album really does blend, and Auburn doesn't really seem to be trying to do anything on this album. I really just think he put something out. I wasn't expecting a follow-up to Humans last year. I thought Humans was a really overblown project with a ton of features, almost seemed like a DJ Khaled type of record. I like Gorillaz, I just don't know what he's doing. I actually think Snoop Dogg adds a lot of soul, and it makes sense that for someone who just came out with a gospel record, he deliver this kind of aesthetic to the track. I don't know if he's just going through a lack of inspiration, or maybe we're not hearing that adventurous quality that originally drew me towards Gorillaz music in the first place, but this just doesn't seem like it's it. A good portion of these tracks are just so empty and flaccid and just blah. Yes, there's singing from Auburn and there is good production on some of these tracks, but none of it pops. It just flatlines and there's no peak. I mean, at least on Humans, there was this adventurous quality that made you feel like there was a world that existed other than your own that Gorillaz were in or making music from the perspective of. But I do like the track with Snoop Dogg, so if you want to check out anything off of this album, check that one out. Many of y'all have been asking me about the Death Grips You're the Snitch review. I did mention on Twitter that my files were corrupted, so I couldn't edit them and I can't put out a reaction video to that album. But from what I've been listening to, this is a little bit more of a lighter album, an album that doesn't really fit their I guess darkness aesthetic. It's not as beastly. It doesn't seem as draconian in my opinion. It just seems kind of a little bit more stripped back, a little bit more laid back, just a little bit more, I guess, acceptable and accessible to the, to a casual listener's ears, to the point where it doesn't come off as abrasive, even though it is still very much that. In my opinion, though, it's just a Death Grips record that I've yet to classify as anything. One thing I will say I like a little bit more about this record is there are more elements to enjoy if you're looking for a song structure. There are less unpredictable waves of madness that occur in these tracks. Like one of them I really like is Dilemma, that has its own actual beat that doesn't really change that often. It's just kind of consistent. You can view MC Right as abrasive as you want to. On this track, I just feel like it comes off as a little bit more of a structured piece of material. Focuses a little bit more on the instruments. There's even a portion of this track where MC Right sounds like he's being thrown down a hole. Again, I would say it's a little bit more accessible and a little bit more structured, but it is still an extremely crazy project that, like I said, is yet to identify itself to me. So I'm just gonna keep listening to it and maybe I'll take something more out of it eventually. But as it stands, I'm feeling more than a little okay about it. Also, for those of you who don't know, I know I mentioned in the beginning of this video I have a gaming channel, but I'm also gonna start playing Detroit. And in listening and playing to Detroit so far, I've heard a couple soundtracks that I actually enjoy. I'm a sucker for the piano and I'm a sucker for the violin. I'm a sucker for them both on the same song though. There's so many dramatic elements of this piece, it's hard for me not to like it. If you're like me and you like music that has these dramatic effects, these rises, these moments where you can envision yourself tied into the track and you can paint your own scene, you'll really probably like this track. It doesn't really have to mean anything. It's not like this lyrical piece of material or anything like that. It's just something that you can put yourself inside of and make a movie scene for yourself. That and another track you could probably check out. I don't know if it's still on YouTube. I hope it is. Defiance came out about 10 years ago in 2008, features Daniel Craig. It's a movie basically centered around the Belsky brothers who basically freed a bunch of their people from, extermination. I believe they saved over 1,000. One of the more impactful cuts, or one of the more suspenseful cuts, a part of this movie soundtrack is probably the one that's titled, if it's still on YouTube, the one that's titled Bella and Zeus. There's this cut at the end of it, and it's just so suspenseful, so thrilling. The anticipation and the certain anxiety, the certain tension that's in the scene is apparent when you listen to the track. Another reason why James Howard Newton is one of the most underrated composers of all time. Listen to the build-up, right? Let it consume you, let it sit in, let it settle, right? Let it take over, let it engulf you. Now let the scene play. That's the video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Make sure to leave your playlist down in the comment section below. Let me know what you've been listening to as well. And I believe that's it. Like I said, don't forget to go look at the gaming channel because the videos are going to come. They're going to come. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. I'm out. Peace.